that Andrew improperly shared confidential information during his years as a trade envoy for the UK.
He might say his duty was to ensure that the trading position of the United Kingdom was enhanced by what he was doing, and it was really up to him to judge when to pass on information to people in order to generate trade. It also has to be done to such a degree as to amount to an abuse of the public's trust in the office holder. How does one define the level of public trust required, and of course without reasonable excuse or justification? So that's a defense that he could put. He could say he was acting reasonably.
On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 230 points. The Nasdaq Composite Index rose by 203, with the S&P 500 advancing by 47. More at Town Hall.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax? I like it too. Newsmax, you like Newsmax? I like it too.
It's true. Millions of Americans agree with President Trump, and they're switching to Newsmax. They're watching great shows with Greta, Carl Higbie, Rob Schmidt, Finnerty, and more. If you're tired of big media, start watching Newsmax. It's free to start. Go to NewsmaxPlus.com for immediate access. Get all of President Trump's most important events live. Imagine watching Mike Huckabee's Israel Report, our Melania documentary, Clint Eastwood, Charlie Kirk specials, even the movie Jesus of Nazareth by Franco Zeffirelli. Once you start Newsmax Plus, you won't stop. So try it for free. Go to NewsmaxPlus.com, then download the app. It's easy. So make the switch to Newsmax Plus today.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
The Supreme Court has struck down President Trump's far-reaching global tariffs, handing him a significant legal setback on an issue key to his economic agenda. Correspondent Mark Sherman.
The justices voted 6-3 in ruling that an emergency powers law that does not in fact use the word tariffs does not give Trump the authority to impose tariffs, including reciprocal tariffs he imposed on nearly every country.
It didn't take the president long to push back.
The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country.
And taking the setback in stride today, the president said he will impose a global 10% tariff as an alternative. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Overnight showers tonight. That'll carry into tomorrow morning. Our low this evening, 57. Tomorrow, a 60% chance for the rain. It's cooler. The high is 67. On Sunday, the early rain will turn to sunshine later on. The high 57. And then Monday, we get back to winter. Sunshine, but a high of only 48. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network on this wonderful, big Friday night. We're coming to you from best place in the world, Myrtle Beach, and the other best place in the world, the annual High School Football Coaches Association Clinic, also known as the state's largest gathering of pickup trucks. I know I'm in the right place because, like, everything out there is a pickup truck. All right, what is it about football coaches and pickup trucks? They are everywhere.
Yeah, you need them to carry your players home.
Is that what it is? After you've worn them out? That is Coach Scott Early, the executive director of the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association, just announced today that he is going into the Coaches Hall of Fame. So congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very undeserving, but very
No. That's very much deserved. You've done so much for high school football in so many different levels in our state. So we congratulate you. The clinic started, I think they played golf yesterday, and the clinicking started today and will continue tomorrow. A lot of the guys have stepped out now for dinner because they're in between sessions. I know Chad Morris was here from Clemson talking to the coaches earlier, and I saw the newest coach at South Carolina, former quarterback Luke Doty, now working with the secondary. He was here, going to work with the safeties. Had a chance to speak with him. Didn't recognize him with his hair. You know, he said he had a beard. He had a beard and the full set of hair. So he's here, but more Gamecock coaches, more Clemson coaches are going to be in tomorrow to talk with everybody. But we have Coach Early here with us. By the way, tell you real quick, and we'll get into baseball in just a moment and welcome Bergie and everybody else. Army beat South Carolina 9-5, and Clemson is leading Bryant 3-1 in the top of the 7th, and Coastal is leading VCU 4-2 in the bottom of the 5th, and the College of Charleston is losing to South Alabama 15-2 in the bottom of the 6th. So more on baseball, more on basketball coming up. We got a huge show for you. We're going to kick it off, though. Coach Early is here. We have a special guest in Coach Jason Farmer from Dorman. So, Coach, I'm going to kick it over to you and let you visit with the coach.
Yeah, Phil, here with Coach Farmer. Coach Farmer is the president of the South Carolina Athletic Football Coach Association. So he's sort of in charge of all this and many other things. And it's really a big year for Coach Farmer because it just got announced, or will be announced tomorrow. He's actually on the 2026 Shrine Bowl staff.
Super.
And second vice president of the SCAC board. So I don't know how he accomplishes
Too
all
many
he
titles,
does.
man. So many titles.
But ever since, him taking over as president of the Football Coach Association, he has really moved the needle from communication to honesty to transparency to integrity to social media to communication to events. And, Coach, I just want to congratulate you on all these honors you've been bestowed, and just talk to us a little bit about what it takes to put this together. I know at one time the February clinic was maybe sort of dying on the vine, and when I pulled up in the parking lot today and I saw the activity and the excitement and everything, you and your board deserve a lot of credit for this. So could you just tell us a little bit about that?
Scott, I certainly appreciate it. Yeah, and I think I got too many titles, but, we'll go with it right now. So we're super excited about this event, and it did kind of start fading away right there before COVID. And COVID, obviously, we hit a road bump like everybody. And then coming out of COVID, we tried to start spicing it up a little bit. Brian Smith, who does our clinic committee, he's kind of in charge of getting all these guys here and trying to find not only a good high school mixture but a good college mixture these guys are going to come see. And and we decided this year that we were actually going to charge $10, but we had Jeff Jordan, who owns a barbecue place, Chalk's Barbecue, up in West Oak area, who Jeff was a former high school football coach as well. So he had barbecue for 300 people as they came in the door. So we took $10 from them but fed them barbecue. So we had, like I said, we planned for 300, and I think we had almost 400 here today. So super excited how this clinic's going. Super excited how our association's going. We've got a lot of good things going on. We've got a recruiting fair at White Knoll High School on April 23rd we've already planned. And I think as right now we got 74 schools signed up for that. This is an opportunity for head coaches to come in and talk to colleges all in one place. And so that's so important to get our kids out there because we're in the kids' business. And then our golf tournament, our annual golf tournament is June 5th. We're going to Oak Hills Country Club. And, that's crucial because about 4 years ago, and I was on the board, it looked like we were not going to be able to provide North-South rings for our coaches. And I coached the North-South game in 2019. What an honor it is for me to be able to coach in the Shrine Bowl this year. I'm super excited about that. But that ring, although it's in my drawer, it's important to me. And so I took the golf tournament on immediately as just a director, and we've seen that grow. We had almost 120 golfers last year. And so the golf tournament has gone from providing for North-South rings to also providing for our Shrine Bowl staff and our Hall of Fame class. So we buy rings for everybody. Just through the golf tournament. That's really money in, money out. So don't cost our association anything. to do that. So, yeah, super excited. We've got a great board of directors that some great football coaches, but do a good job. And, we kicked off yesterday. Actually, I didn't get to play golf, Phil. We had our 35 and under academy that started, and we had been in July up in Greenville, but a lot of every one of them are football coaches. Was like, well, let's partner that with our winter clinic. And so we moved it downhill. Shane Fiddler at White Knoll does that. And so we had a group of about 20 guys came in starting at 12 yesterday. I spoke to them about our association, and we had, superintendents, principals, football coaches come in and talk about interview processes and just training these guys because, after 34 years, for me, one of the things that I want to do is I want to pour into the younger group. I really do. And I can tell you who it was. It was Doc Davis at Spartanburg High School, poured into me when I was 27 years old.
Right.
So it's now my turn to pour into those 27-year-olds.
Right.
Because you're not going to do this forever. But this is the greatest profession in the country. There's no better. And I've always wanted to be a coach, and I'm living my dream every day.
Well, and I know you got the combines coming up and all the things you mentioned. I think just from my standpoint, the role I serve in, I've just seen, to me, communication is key. Right. And I just seeing y'all constant communicating, right. And everybody that coaches football in the great state of South Carolina actually knows what's going on now, and y'all have been very transparent about all that. And I think, in my opinion, that's helped grow your association.
Right.
And a lot of that's been under your leadership, and I know you defer a lot of credit, but the head man's got to be the head man, right, to get everybody else going in the same direction. And y'all's transformation into total organization has been amazing to watch.
Well, I'm
a huge fan of your leadership.
And I appreciate that. And you know what? I think you learn leadership. And I told the group, I spoke at the 2 o'clock meeting today, and I told that group I've been very blessed with who I've been able to work under. I was a head coach for 11 years, but I also worked under Hall of Famer Al Lown. Started with Sam Baird at Newberry High School, and then Doc for 10 years at Spartanburg, and then Wade Cooper at Blue Ridge before I became a head coach myself. And so, yeah, I've actually been blessed with that. But transparency is key. Working under you and working under Coach Dula and the overall association, I learned that. And I think you gotta overemphasize or overinform people, and they'll still email you and go, "We didn't see it."
Yeah.
But I mean, all we can do is put it on SportsU and Twitter, and we try to use that social media piece as much as we can. And I think from the signs of how everybody turned out today, I think everybody got the message because, Phil, we got a lot of trucks out there in the parking lot.
A lot of trucks. Didn't see any dead deer in there, but
no, I don't hunt. I do play golf. I'm just not doing it this weekend.
What more can you tell us about the Shrine Bowl staff from South Carolina?
Well, they were announced. When were they announced? Last
week
on February the 7th.
Yep.
February the 7th.
Yes.
So Dwayne Garrett. Do you know the Shrine Bowl coaches?
Go right ahead.
So, well, I'm going to let him help me with this.
Okay.
But Dwayne Garrett is the head coach.
Okay.
And, of course, we got Coach Farmer and
Demetrius Davis from Fairfield Central.
Yep.
Robert Muster from Powdersville. Corey Crosby from Bamberg. Eddie Ford from Woodland, and Andy Hallman from Woodmont.
Yep.
That's an excellent staff.
Oh, it's great.
And tomorrow they will all be recognized here, and I think at 5:30.
5:30. Yep.
And recognized and that kind of thing. So we'll have that all-star group together tomorrow.
That is awesome. While I have the two of you here before you start roaming around, Coach, at this clinic, when you're talking about high school football issues in South Carolina, what do you think one or two of the top topics are here this weekend? You guys have a feel for what's on the minds of the coaches?
Well, for me, just having the opportunity in this role to travel and meet with other executive directors and other commissioners, I think the NIL thing is it's already here, but it's going to be something that we all are going to have to deal with. So that would be my number one thing, and I don't know as far as what Coach Farmer, but that's going to be something we deal with. And then,
do they want, like in neighboring states now, like Georgia's just approved it? I think maybe North Carolina has. I'm not 100% sure. Is it going to happen in South Carolina?
Well, we're losing some of our good athletes because it hasn't happened, because they can go across the border to North Carolina and Georgia and receive compensation. So it's one of those things that it's coming, and we got to find a way to deal with it, because we're going to have to deal with it whether we want to deal with it or not. It's just like the transfer situation. People say, well, it's a wild, wild west. Well, when you see what's going on in the legislature and see what's going on in the high school league, and you look at the whole scope of what's going on in the country, it's coming. We're just going to have good, transparent, organized leaders with great communication skills to just deal with it head on and not try to skirt around it. So I'll defer to Coach Farmer on other topics.
I'm glad you took over that one. I guess, Phil, one of the things that has been a hot topic is the realignment. And although it's settled down and everybody's got their schedules, it was a hot topic for about a month. Obviously, we always talk about the transfer situation, but Scott's right. I mean, it's here to stay. And so we've got to embrace it, and we've got to figure out how to make it better for us. Because, Scott, just like me, we cut our teeth on coaching kids that were living in the Myrtle Beach area or the Lexington area or the Spartanburg area, and that's who you coached.
Yeah.
And so that's not the case anymore. It's not the case, and so you have to defend your program. You got to go try to win to keep kids there. I mean, because I tell people all the time, Phil, one of the things I think that we're missing on in high school sports, and not just football but sports in general, and I think it's from a home standpoint, not necessarily our professionals that are in our schools, but everybody looks for the next step. When you're in middle school, you're looking at high school and where you're going to go to high school. But the minute you get to high school, you're looking for where are you going to go play college football?
Mm-hmm.
And and I get it, but not everybody's a college football player. If everybody was a college football player, high school football coaching jobs would be a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. And I've only coached a few of them. And I've been doing it 34 years, and I've probably coached 10 Division I kids, and so those guys don't come around so often. And then you look at the transfer portal in the NCAA, and so now what we're seeing is that these colleges, instead of recruiting high school kids, they're just recruiting transfer portal.
That's right.
So the high school seniors are missing out.
Right.
Yep.
So, like someone said it today, it was very great. Like 10 years ago, a Power 5 guy would have, a Power 5 guy 10 years ago today is a Division II guy that can go to Division II, play a year, get in the transfer portal, and get paid.
And become a big dog again.
But kids, when you talk to them about Division II, it's like, oh, no, but they don't understand the whole scope of it. So,
one last thing, I'll let you go. You're going to do some roaming for us.
Yes,
another big story, Lou Bajak in the state had a big story today on the high school league and the legislature, and I think the way I took it, it's gotten very personal.
Mm-hmm.
And what he wrote was that if they fire Jerome Singleton, then the high school league will live. If they don't fire Jerome Singleton, then they're going to dismantle the high school league.
Abolish
it and start a government entity. Your thoughts on that, if you have any?
Well, it's something we've had to deal with in the last 48 hours, definitely. But I compare it like this. We're all old enough to remember this. And I don't know the name of the book, but the book we read, and the wolf was coming, and the wolf was coming, and the wolf was coming, and the wolf finally came.
Mm-hmm.
The wolf's here. This is going to have to be dealt with too. But I think what you read in that article and what you see is they're wanting a change in leadership, not to just dismantle the entire system. So that, I think, has to be worked out between Dr. Singleton and the executive committee.
Jason?
I'm going to second his statement.
I'm going to say this. And I could be just totally wrong. I mean, you guys are a lot more educated on this than I am. I'm talking about it from an observer standpoint. To me, whoever is that executive director, whether it's Jerome Singleton or Scott Early, I mean, one thing about Dr. Singleton, he is not a guy that works in the gray. He works in the black and the white. You come to him with an issue, he looks at the rule book. Whatever the rule book says, that's what he goes with. That's been my experience. Now, he doesn't write the rules. The schools write the rules.
The body.
The body writes the rules.
229 member schools.
Right. So if he rules based on the rule book, why are people singling him out as the problem here? He's just enforcing the rules. And I know there's been things done by the high school league that individually people are mad about, whether it's making some legislator's kid ineligible, that maybe he's holding a grudge, or ruling against the school, and then maybe they're holding a grudge. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing personal grudges coming out of these school districts through the legislature. Am I marking up the
It all started with Goose Creek years ago.
Yeah,
and
15 years ago.
And it's got worse and worse and worse, and now it's so bad it has to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you think the end will be?
I don't know, but we'll know by Tuesday.
By Tuesday?
Coach Hayes, Representative Hayes, actually.
Jackie Hayes?
Had a 24-hour injunction, which holds off because they're not in session today or Monday. But that decision will be made one way or another on Tuesday on the House side.
How about that?
Yep.
All right, gentlemen. Coach,
Thank you,
congratulations
Phil. I appreciate
to
you having me on.
Thanks for coming by.
Yep. Thank you.
Absolutely, Scott.
all
Thank
you
you
do.
so
Yes,
man. I appreciate it.
And
Thank
Coach
y'all so
Shirley's going to
much.
walk around. Let me know when you have somebody, and we'll come to you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Wow. Didn't realize that thing was coming up so fast on Tuesday. Y'all have you on live, so just talk to me. Yeah, just talk to me. All right. Coach Shirley's going to walk around the room and see if there's some coaches he wants to talk to. A lot of them have cleared out because it's dinner time, and it's Myrtle Beach, et cetera, et cetera. But if he finds somebody interesting to talk to, we'll go back to him and hear from him. We got Bergie popping up in just a moment. He's been watching baseball. Back in a moment.
Too tough to tame? Try too rough to ride. Nothing about this place lets you sit back. It rips up your tires and tears at your heart. Let's go! History, glory, consequences. That's Darlington, where stripes are well earned. The Goodyear 400, NASCAR's best, face the lady in black. And this spring, how about that? She'll leave her mark. Hell yeah, boys! NASCAR weekend at Darlington Raceway, March 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Jim Corbett. For over 35 years, I've been making claims, litigating cases, and mediating cases. Quick checks from a car wreck are usually lowball offers. What happens 5 or more years from now when you didn't get the treatment or compensation you needed? Call me, Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, Corbett with an E, and the initial consultation is free. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
If you want to reach sports fans, there's no better place than the Sports Talk Media Network. We give your business exposure on over 20 radio affiliates across South Carolina, plus online at SportsTalkSC.com and on our growing social media platforms. That means radio, digital, and social, all working together for your brand. Our audience is loyal, engaged, and they trust what they hear from us. We partner with local businesses, regional brands, and anyone who wants to connect with real sports fans. From live reads and sponsorships to digital advertising, we'll build a custom campaign to fit your goals and budget. Ready to advertise with Sports Talk Media Network? Visit sportstalksc.com/sales-contact. That's sportstalksc.com/sales-contact. Sports Talk Media Network. Advertising that reaches sports fans.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Friday night edition of Sports Talk Media Network. Bergie, you've been watching the baseball. What happened to the Gamecocks today? Army gets their first win, 9-5. This is an Army team that Clemson handled last weekend. Yeah. Army beats the Gamecocks 9-5, 9-9-0 to 5-8-0. What'd you see?
Well, 9-5 makes it sound close, Phil. I mean, Army dominated that game. It was 8-1. It got to 9-1 going to the bottom of the 8th. And Carolina had a little bit of a rally in the bottom of the 8th inning, but for the most part, hard to say, but they were outclassed today by Army, especially considering what we saw from Army last week against Clemson. And I believe it was the Black Knights' first Power Conference victory in about 4 seasons as well. So they took every opportunity on social media to rub it into South Carolina's face. They had a picture of their guys celebrating, and the caption was, "It just means more."
Oh, come on, Army. Do that when you take over a country. Don't do that when you take over a university.
Like that,
You know, save it for a country invasion. Save it for Iran or something like that. All right,
Carolina
Clemson.
again. You know, they struggled last week against Northern Kentucky with runners in scoring position. They hit 091 today. They were like 1 of 11 with runners in scoring position today. And you're not beating anybody with that.
Clemson and Bryant. Bryant's come back with 2 runs in the 7th. That's 3-3 in the top of the 8th. And South Alabama just hammering College of Charleston 16-2. That's in the top of the 7th. And Coastal Carolina is leading VCU 4-2. That's in the bottom of the 6th inning in the first day of baseball at the beach over at Coastal Carolina. So we're here at the Coaches Clinic. Most of the coaches have hit the streets of Myrtle Beach, but Coach Early is roaming around here at the Sheridan 4-star, and he has found a coach to visit with. Go ahead, Coach Early.
Yeah, Phil, I'm here with Coach Brian Smith. We just finished with Jason Farmer, and Coach Smith's actually got the hardest job in this whole scenario here because he's the one that actually books all these people that are going to speak over the next 2 days. So I'm gonna let Coach Smith do a little rundown and say a few words about what it takes to put all this together.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Scott, for being here. One of the things we try to do is we use our local colleges. We get Clemson and Carolina. They both give us a couple guys. Coastal, new staff with Ryan Beard. We just asked them, hey, we need 2 guys, and they Coach Beards will talk tomorrow for a second with a couple coordinators. PC Presbyterian had a great year this year. Nationally ranked for the first time in a while. Their head coach Matt Rawls is going to speak tomorrow, and so we've kind of those guys. We got a couple guys coming from far away. We had my son is at Middle Tennessee and works with the offensive staff, and we have one their receiver coach Coley Crowley is going to be here tomorrow. So try to get some of those guys in from near and far. And then Newberry. Newberry had such an unbelievable last year. Cole Watson, offensive coordinator, is going to be here to share. So we try to mix it with some out-of-state guys, some in-state guys, and then we have some high school guys who speak. The biggest thing for us is to use connections we have and use opportunities. We have our under 35 group, which is younger coaches who are trying to learn and be where all of us were at one point. And so we have some of those guys that we take. And I ask them every year. Coach Fiddler does a great job with under 35 group. I take those guys and say, give me 3 or 4 more speak. And, I'm kind of a year ahead. Like my next year clinic is scheduled. Got to work on the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association clinic here for July. But, we kind of have a clinic scheduled about a year out. And we count on certain schools. Like I said, deal very highly with Coach Caldwell at Clemson and Coach Wren at Carolina. They know that I know I can count on them for 2 speakers a year at least, and then the same thing with Coastal. And the great thing about football in our state is our state knows we have the college programs know we have great players, and they know they need great players, so they need to be seen in front of high school coaches. We had a session a few minutes ago that was unbelievable. We had Buddy Pugh and Phil Strickland, 2 of the best high school coaches ever in this state, and we do that every year, and we just take questions from the group and go over it. So 2 legends had a great time.
All right, Coach, we got to jump in. Break is coming up. Thank you, coaches.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Coach Smith and Coach Early from here at the Coaches Clinic. And for football coaches, it's the place to be. And you walk out of here a lot smarter than you were when you walked in. We'll do more from here, but we've got to touch them all with Rudy after the break.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Overnight showers tonight. That'll carry into tomorrow morning. Our low this evening, 57. Tomorrow, a 60% chance for the rain. It's cooler. The high is 67. On Sunday, the early rain will turn to sunshine later on. The high 57. And then Monday, we get back to winter. Sunshine, but a high of only 48. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hi, I'm Sean Paliak, the new owner of Columbia Screen Printing and Design, formerly Bardak Design and Tease Me. We've rebranded, but our experienced staff and quality results haven't changed. We proudly serve the Columbia area with top-notch garments and design, and offer free delivery on our local orders. Visit us on Rosewood Drive near the fairgrounds, or check us out online. For t-shirts, sweatshirts, jerseys, koozies, and more, call Columbia Screen Printing and Design at 254-7940. We're local, fast, and ready to wow you.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump is dealing with a major legal defeat Friday after the Supreme Court struck down many of the tariffs he imposed last year on nearly every country on earth. The truth, though, is that Mr. Trump still has options to keep taxing imports aggressively, even though the justices ruled against him. He's already imposed a 10% global tariff after the High Court's decision. President Trump has warned that limited strikes against Iran are possible even as the country's top diplomat says Tehran expects to have a proposed deal ready in the next few days following nuclear talks with the U.S. The tensions between the longtime adversaries have ramped up as the Trump administration pushes for concessions. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 230 points, the S&P 500 advanced 47. This is SRN News.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
Nothing better than supporting local farmers and getting the best of the best when it comes to beef. Did you know H&J Cattle Company now is a store you could shop at directly? Yep, 2074 Bethany Schoolhouse Road in Saluda. Highest quality beef, a nice drive out to the country, and great playground for the kids. You can even get an ATV tour of the farm. Even have local honey, tallow, elderberry syrup, and beautiful home decor items. Online, it's HandJCattle.com or find us on Facebook, H+J Cattle. Better yet, come around and see us. H&J Cattle Company.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
When your temperatures swing, your comfort shouldn't. At Sweet Comfort Services, we make sure your system's ready for anything. Get our $99 preventative maintenance, a full inspection and tune-up that keeps your equipment efficient, reliable, and safe. Thinking it's time for an upgrade? We offer estimates on new Goodman and American Standard systems. You'll get honest advice, fair pricing, and expert installation. No gimmicks, no surprises. Call 803-331-8143 or visit sweetcomfortservices.com to schedule today.
When storms hit the Midlands, who do you trust to keep your family safe and dry? Shingos Now, your local family-owned pros. Charlie and Rodney, both GAF Master Elite contractors, deliver honest, top-quality roof repairs and replacements. Licensed, insured, and proud to offer free inspections and estimates, we make protection stress-free and affordable. You can count on Shingos Now, the team that treats you like family. Shingos Now, roof repairs right away. Visit shinglesnow.com today.
All right, good to have you back with us here. Oh, is that what I think it is? This is what makes the plumber the happiest. Yes, I mistakenly said 4 stars. It's the Sheraton 4 Points. 4 Points, which will be coming to a basketball game near you. One day they're going to make the line a 4-point line. They're going to back it up 35 feet, and you get 4 points. No, it's the Sheraton 4 Points here in Myrtle Beach. Wonderful hotel. Perfect for this convention. A lot of space, a lot of meeting rooms, a lot of place to lounge around. So there you go. It's the 4 Points. Sheraton 4 Points here in Myrtle Beach. That's where we are for the Coaches Clinic. Rudy Jones going to touch them all in just a second. Let's go back to Coach Early, who's been walking around. I'm not going to say the social area is where he's been walking around, and he's found another of the top coaches in our state. Coach.
Yeah, I'm at the social area with one of our most social coaches in South Carolina, Mr. Rob Hanna. It's T.L. Hanna from Hampton County. They just was in a heavyweight fight against Strong Thurman in the state championship. So, Coach, first of all, congratulations on a great year. But can you give us a little background on how quickly you have turned Hampton County into a perennial powerhouse?
Well, I've been there a long time at Wade Hampton, and we merged with Estill 3 years ago to make Hampton County. I attribute our success to Jerry Brown coming 9 years ago. He was the first coach. I was there 10 years. I had 6 coaches in 10 years before him. And that stability that he gave us 4 years, and then I got named coach and he left. So I feel like that program has kind of been very similar for 9 years now. I think that's the key. Hampton's always had athletes and players, but we finally have a program that's been established for about 9 years now. And, bringing those kids over from Estill 3 years ago was a big boost, getting some of those athletes. And I got a great staff and a good administrative staff that supports my vision and what I want to do. And, yeah, we're excited where we are right now.
So when it comes to like a clinic like this in February, I know in July our big clinic is, it's kind of late, especially for fall sport, especially football people. But what do you get out of a winter clinic like this? And every time we have something, I always see you there. So you must be like one of those guys that don't know everything. That's a continuous learner, like I always was. But what does this add to your tool belt as far as this clinic?
Yeah, definitely. If you're not learning, you don't need to be in this game. One of my assistant coaches says you never want to be the smartest guy in the room. So I'm always looking to be around quality people that I can pick something from and make it my own or use it to help us get an advantage. And anytime you get to be around your peers like this weekend in some of these workshops and listen to how they do things, and it may work for your situation, it may not. And then obviously, being like where we are right now, it's nice to talk to guys and pick their brain one-on-one, a little more laid-back atmosphere and connect, and always a great time.
Well, Coach, congratulations, and I'm sure there's going to be continued success, and we will be pulling for you. Thank you for coming on with Phil and I.
Appreciate it.
Coaches, thank you very much. And yes, Hampton County, Bergie, they have become just a monster down there. That consolidation of those programs from a football standpoint and athletic standpoint, it did wonders for that area of the state.
Yeah, it's great. And sometimes you can't have, 2 or 3 schools that are fully viable in smaller regions around the state. I even think back to when Union and what was it, the 2 other programs, 2 other high schools.
Jonesville, Union, and Lockhart.
There we go. Lockhart was the one I couldn't think of right off the top of my head. And then they consolidated, and for a while that worked really well. Union County was as good as Union High School was. So, when you get the consolidation, you take 3 schools and turn them into 1. Normally you're going to turn out a pretty good athletic program.
All right, let's turn our attention to a man, I bet you, he's so engrossed in baseball right now, but you take him back a few years, he could sit down and talk high school football with the best of them. Welcome in veteran scribe Rudy Jones, now focused on baseball all across the state of South Carolina as we touch them all on this Friday night with Rudy Jones from Palmetto State Baseball. You want to talk football
Phil,
or baseball? You want to do baseball or football, huh?
I can throw you some old man trivia out there. Jerry Brown played at Winsboro High when they beat my alma mater, Travelers Rest, in the Class A Upper State Championship game my sophomore year. And my freshman year at South Carolina, we were both rooming on the 7th floor at Snowden. So I've known Jerry a while, and it does not surprise me that he did well at Wade. Well, he's done well wherever he is. But anyway, that's one of those things that you and I used to roll our eyes at whenever our parents or something like that would talk about it. But anyway, on to baseball.
Snowden, I got to say something about Snowden. Snowden was my dorm my freshman year. So then they quickly tore it down after that. But, yeah, that was my dorm my freshman year.
We did a lot of damage. Tear it down right after that, Phil.
No,
we did a lot of damage on the 7th floor.
I had the
they
best
should have
room,
torn
though.
those down after you were there, but they didn't.
I was on the 5th floor. I think I was on the 5th floor, and my room was a corner room, so I had a balcony, and I could walk on my balcony and watch the cars on North Main Street and also watch the cars on Blossom Street. Because coming from Latta, I wasn't used to a lot of cars and traffic.
Yep.
I'd sit out there and just watch the cars. And my roommate one year was a guy who was a cousin of Lester Brown, the former great Clemson running back. Yeah, he was.
I remember him.
My second semester roommate. He was from Myrtle Beach, and had a lot of good conversations about Lester Brown back in those days. But anyway, let's talk baseball. And South Carolina goes down in a heap to Army today. Clemson's in a tight one with Bryant. Coastal's winning. Charleston's losing big. What else are you seeing around the state today and so far this week?
Well, USC Upstate got a nice win today. They beat Northern Illinois. And, talking about South Carolina, I think what the game they played today undid all the positives that they saw against Wofford and Gardner-Webb. Army's a good team. They think they've been about 5 or 6 NCAAs in a row because they're one of the top teams. But you don't expect a team coming down like that to play that much better than South Carolina. Of course, Carolina had very, very weak pitching. They couldn't throw a strike. And for those Gamecock fans looking ahead to next week, after to see what the Clemson pitching staff did to Army and the Clemson hitters did to Army's pitching, then to see what Army did to USC today, I'm sure Carolina fans are not looking too excited about next weekend. But, hey, it's baseball. Tomorrow everything could be bright and sunny again for Carolina.
Absolutely.
Midweek, it's pretty much, I thought that was a nice win for College of Charleston over Coastal midweek. They've beat Coastal 3 straight games. And, not many other teams can say they've done that. Of course, Charleston's getting pounded today. One thing talking about the Army, of course.
They got pounded. Final of 16-2. It just shows you, baseball, you're riding high. And the Cougars, man, they had fun at the expense of Coastal winning that game with social media posts and all that. And then you come out and you're at home and you're playing South Alabama and they just chew you up. So you just never know.
Don't sleep on the Sun Belt, Phil.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
And I think there's more likelihood of that in baseball than basketball or football. I mean, because you get a couple of good arms or a couple of good hitters, and you can overcome a lot of things, especially if the other team's made it at the top of their game. It'd be a lot tougher for a South Alabama to beat whoever they're playing in football like that. The similar thing. Of course, they're similar to Charleston in baseball, but that type thing. One other little thing about Army is, of course, they don't want to play Navy down here, 700 miles away from where they are. So on Sunday, instead of playing Navy, Army is going to go down and play the Citadel, who has got to be champing at the bit to have a chance to play one of the other military schools. And then Marshall, who's playing the Citadel right now this weekend, is going to come up and take Army's place in the USC Salute to the Troops tournament. That's a pretty neat thing to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's always good to see teams you don't get to see a lot come down and play in this area. And I'm sure they enjoy the fact the weather, it's beautiful weather at game today. It was in the 80s. And I'm sure it's a lot different from what it's been in West Point for most of the past 6 or 8 weeks or whatever. But, it's early in the season, and I think sometimes fans get too up after a win and too down after a loss. You just kind of have to play it sort of even-tempered and just, let it ride out for a while, see what goes on from there.
Yeah. Well, I'm afraid Palmineri's in a situation after last year that every loss is like the end of the world. But, I mean, I can understand one thing they did well last year was not lose games they should have won. I think they were, perfect in those games.
Yeah. They did not lose to non-P4 last year. Yeah.
So now, right. Now they've lost twice,
Yeah.
So and at home, these games you can't make up these home losses, right? I mean, it's just once you take one at home like that, it's you can't erase that as far as what the committee's going to look at down the road. If you even get yourself in that position for the committee to look at you.
Yeah, and and one thing too is sometimes it's the way you lose. Yeah, Carolina walked a lot, hit some batters, wild pitches, et cetera, et cetera. But there was, I guess, about the 4th inning when the guy hits a double off the top of the wall. They throw it back in, and if somebody just alerted Logan Suter to throw the ball home instead of turning around before he turning around, they got a good chance of getting that guy out. They almost got him anyway. But it's just those little things, being alert, help keeping your teammates awake, and know what the situations are. And I think that's what frustrates fans a lot more than, say, just a flat loss. You can lose and play a good game, or you can lose and not play so hot. And I think that's what Carolina did today.
What are you seeing other divisions around the state? In fact, I saw you posted something about a game earlier in the week where you kind of apologized because you said you don't follow JV games or something like that.
Yeah, if I find the schedule there are about 4 or 5 teams that have JV programs. They call them developmental: Francis Marion, Southern Wesleyan, and Erskine. And I'll post the schedule. And if I see the score on the website, I'm not going to go chasing it because it's just not worth it. But they're the varsity teams have tried to do. And North Greenville was playing well. Strangely, they won the first 10 games. Then they lost to King, which is pretty much usually a cellar dweller in Conference Carolinas. So you just never know. They beat Erskine yesterday, so they're now 11-1. They're supposed to play Erskine again today. Got rained out. Going to make it up tomorrow at Tigerville instead of back at Due West. They must have had some really bad rain. Francis Marion has won 9 straight games. They beat Shorter today, 10-6. And they're playing well. They had a great seesaw game with Lander in the midweek. Wound up winning that game on a walk-off squeeze play to beat Lander. I believe it was 12-11 or either 10-9 in 10 innings.
You don't see that very
Anderson's
often, a walk-off squeeze play. That doesn't happen all that often, does it?
Yeah. No, it was a safety squeeze, but still, it's it was a nice win for them. Aiken's been playing well. They're 10-2. Let's see who else. Newberry, they won their 5th straight game today. They beat Virginia Wise in the opener of the doubleheader. A lot of teams moved some games up because of the prospects of rain this weekend. And they beat Virginia Wise in their first game, so they're now 8-4, and they have won their last 6 games. So Newberry's playing well, or 5 games, excuse me. Also, a showdown in junior colleges. Florence Darnson Tech and Gaston College are usually like 1-2 in Region 10. They're playing a series up at Gastonia this weekend. And FD Tech had a nice lead, up 7-3, I believe it was, and Gaston College came back and won that game 9-8. Opening weekend of region play. So now Gaston College has got a 1-game lead over FD Tech, and they play 2 tomorrow in Gastonia. USC Sumter had a walk-off win against USC Union in their first game today, and they were in like the 8th inning of the second game. They were winning. Sumter was winning again. Now, Phil, one thing I not mentioned yet is, we've got a new team in the state this year.
Who's that?
Denmark Tech. They announced they were going to field a team last fall. They hired a coach, and then I looked on Twitter, and that coach was working at somewhere else. I said, well, they decided to wait a year or something. So about a week before the season starts, I look and there's a schedule that I found. And so Denmark Tech is playing their junior college school, and they are playing what they call the United States Collegiate Athletic Association. And they're playing kind of a mixture of JV teams and 2-year schools right now. But we're now back up to 33 teams after we lost Limestone last year. But
33
neat little thing about
teams in the state playing college baseball.
Yes, sir. 33. 10 in Division 1, 12 in Division 2, 5 junior college, and 6 NAIA 6 junior college, and 5 like NAIA / National Christian College Athletic Association or other. So there's baseball all over the state that people can go to see. A lot of good level.
Except in your backyard of Furman. We got to do
Exactly.
something about that. We got to do something about that.
Exactly. I was riding home from somewhere the other night, and they had and I live like a mile and a half from the stadium. And I was riding home the other night, and they had the lights on. Of course, nothing going on. The women's softball team was playing, but I was thinking, man, oh man, it would be great to have Furman back. And they, I don't know what's going to go on with that. Furman needs to have baseball. I mean, it's just great. Sure. And they got a great facility. They spent all that money on it and then dropped program, and now they're doing, like, I guess, camps or maybe practicing soccer or lacrosse or whatever is on it. And I hope the facilities just don't start to deteriorate over the lack of use over time. But, yeah, Furman needs to have baseball back.
I hope Hunter Reed doesn't deteriorate not having baseball. You got one of the great baseball SIDs in the state sitting right there with no baseball team, It's terrible.
Exactly.
It's
You're
terrible,
right.
Terrible.
Rudy? Terrible. You are exactly right.
Phil, if I may, before Rudy goes, a quick question. You were talking about Francis Marion earlier, Rudy. I get it. Maybe their schedule is not up to par to this point, what they'll see once they get into conference play, but they lead Division II in runs scored. They're averaging 16 a game. I mean, are they that good offensively, or is it a part and parcel to the schedule they played to this point, do you think?
I think a little bit of both, but they are very, very good offensively. They've got a guy by the name of Charlie Bussey III. He's one of the best ones on the team. He's hitting up around 400, great on-base percentage, and he's not just a slugger. I mean, he gets doubles and he does other things. They've got other guys there that are helping them as well. And they've scored, I believe it was 33 against Shawan in the opener doubleheader, and then they cooled off in game 2 and only scored 18, I believe it was, last weekend. Their legs got tired. Their legs got tired, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, they've been doing well. This is Jeff Jefferson's second year as head coach over there. Mm-hmm. Francis Marion has had a good program for a while. Gerald Griffin started it back in, I think, the 70s. Art and Abnett carried it on for a while, too. And they seem to have hired a winner here. They're going well. I think they'll finish definitely in the top half of the of Conference Carolinas. And, of course, they got North Greenville to deal with and some other good schools like Belmont Abbey. That's a good Division II conference.
Okay, Rudy. Appreciate it. Good talking to you. Have a great baseball week. We tell everybody to check out Palmetto State Baseball. Palmetto State Baseball, fantastic. Scores every night. You get to see Rudy on camera recapping things, schedules every day. You got to look at it if you're a baseball fan. I got to get that cap, too. You got a wonderful baseball cap. Is that for sale on there on that YouTube there? I got to get that baseball cap that you got on there. Thank you, Rudy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rudy.
Let's see. We got Clemson now up 6-3 on Bryant. And we've got Coastal now 7-2 on VCU. And the Citadel is winning 4-0.
Too tough to tame? Try too rough to ride. Nothing about this place lets you sit back. It rips up your tires and tears at your heart. Let's go! History, glory, consequences. That's Darlington, where stripes are well earned. The Goodyear 400. NASCAR's best face the Lady in Black. And this spring, how about that? She'll leave her mark. Hell yeah, boys! NASCAR weekend at Darlington Raceway, March 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
If you missed the home equity line of credit offer from Founders Federal Credit Union, we have good news. The offer has been extended, but don't wait. You only have until February 28th to get up to $750 toward closing costs when you open a Founders HELOC. That's more in your pocket for home improvements, debt consolidation, major purchases, unexpected expenses, or a much-needed vacation. The possibilities are endless. Imagine starting a new year with financial flexibility and peace of mind. But hurry, this special offer ends February 28th. Save more and jumpstart your year. Plus, you'll enjoy competitive rates and flexible terms designed to fit your budget. Visit foundersfcu.com/HELOC for more information. Membership qualification required. Institution NMLS. Identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. See website for details.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Make your plans now to get to the coast for the Palmetto State's premier baseball showcase. The Classic, March 5th through 8th at Mike Johnson Park in Georgetown. Now in its 36th year, the Classic features the best high school players and teams from across South Carolina. Don't miss your chance to see the state's top Major League Baseball prospects and title contenders at the Classic. Presented by Coastal Chevrolet Cadillac Nissan. There'll be games and contests, including a home run derby throughout the weekend. Visit theclassicgtown.com for tickets and more information. The Classic, showcasing South Carolina's finest in high school baseball, March 5th through the 8th in the state's best ballpark, Mike Johnson Park in Georgetown.
Play ball!
Hi, Phil Kornblut here with our good friend George Bryan III, heard every Friday night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps right here on Sports Talk. George, the Tsunami Bar, a very valuable tool for golfers. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I say is the tempo. It's the only tool out there that allows the study of tension right from the first grab to be expressed, and rhythm and tempo is what makes the bar work, and it gives you something awfully special to keep those hands soft and get that rhythm going.
Learn more about Tsunami Bar technology by clicking on the digital ad on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and save 5% by purchasing online using the promo code BBB5. Okay, we're back here at the Coaches Clinic in Myrtle Beach, and let's go to Coach Scott Early, who is socializing in the social area with another coach. Coach, take it away.
You know, Phil, when you wander around in the social area, sometimes you stumble on to an old dog and a new dog. And I am sitting in the social area with the legend Nate Thompson, Carvers Bay High School.
Oh.
But it originated with a guy sitting beside him named Coach Everett Sands, who is back at Coastal Carolina University and are speaking to our high school coaches this week. And I just heard an interesting story. Coach Sands, who has already been mistaken for a PGA golfer, was mistaken for a band member, where Coach Thompson pulled him out of the band, and he later on became an All-American at the Citadel. So we've got two living Conway legends sitting right here with me in the social area. So I'm going to let them rap with us a little bit.
Go ahead.
All right. Hey, it's good to be back at these coaches conferences. I think a lot of times people don't understand that this is one place. Not only do you come here for coaching information, but you come here for camaraderie and networking. We also sometimes there's scheduling being going on, and there are jobs opportunities. But this is what it's all about. It's all about coaches getting together, sharing ideas, sharing strategies, because a lot of us don't know. But a lot of this also is the humanistic side, that we knew each other, we know each other's family, we know each other's friends, and we get a chance to do that. We get a chance to just be not only just coaches, but friends, and have a great idea of what the South Carolina Football Coaches Association really is all about. Because I tell you what, we put on a fantastic one. I mean, we've been packed this year, and that's what we want. We want to be able to get every coach that we can to come in, and we have as many of these sessions that we can have, because this is what it's all about. This is how South Carolina high school coaches become good, and this is how our programs become good.
You know, Coach Thompson, you taught me this a long time ago. Fellowship leads to relationships, and relationships lead to championships. Coach Sands, it is so nice to have you back at an in-state school doing what you do best, running backs coach at Coastal Carolina, and thanks for taking the time to understand that high school coaching is no different than college coaching or NFL's coaching. The only difference is who you're coaching.
Let me jump in, Coach Early, before you get to Coach Sands, because we got to run to a break here. You'll have Coach Sands standing by. We'll come right back to you. Hate to do that, but we have a hard break we got to hit. So explain it to the coach. You know, he's never been thrown for a loss before. Back in a moment.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says he'll decide within the next 10 days whether to order a United States military strike on Iran. But at the annual National Religious Broadcasters Conference in Nashville, one expert says Iran's mountainous terrain, combined with various ethnic factions which control parts of the country, make any military strike a tricky proposition. Dr. Glenn Durer is professor of international studies at Cedarville University in Ohio.
There's an estimated 130 different nuclear sites that, when pieced together, could lead to the breakout of a nuclear weapon. And so finding all of that information, making sure that factions don't fight. I don't think anyone will want to go into Iran, but we also need to stop them from striking Israel, from a breakout for a nuclear weapon. And so that's the delicacy of this moment, is trying to do all those things together.
The National Religious Broadcasters 2026 conference continues today in Nashville. President Trump is not happy about today's 6-3 Supreme Court ruling against his tariff policy. At a news conference, President Trump says the Supreme Court ruling on tariffs does not really matter.
Other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money, and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so.
Two Trump appointees to the court, Justices Neil Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett, sided with the majority. Justices Brett Kavanaugh, Clarence Thomas, and Samuel Alito dissented. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 230 points, the Nasdaq rose 203, the S&P 500 advanced 47. More at townhall.com.
Attention investors, this affects you. Silver prices are exploding, with silver exceeding $100 a troy ounce for the first time. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 to get our free gold and silver investment guide. Plus, you'll also receive a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, when you call now. Here's why it matters. Silver is a high liquidity, tangible, and affordable precious metal investment that serves as an industrial commodity and a store of value. It often outperforms gold during economic upturns. If you have an IRA or 401k, you can act now. Roll over a portion into a tax-advantaged gold and silver IRA backed by physical metals you actually own. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 and find out how you can get a tax and penalty-free rollover for a portion of your retirement funds for 2026. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Wall Street kept calm after the Supreme Court struck down President Trump's sweeping tariffs. Bob Agnew reports.
Stocks ticked higher by the end of the day. The S&P 500 added 0.7% to its value. It had been flipping between small gains and losses before the ruling. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 230 points at the closing bell, and the high-tech Nasdaq gained 203. Trading was tentative across markets after the ruling and after President Trump pledged to put tariffs on other countries using other avenues. Bob Agnew reporting.
The Environmental Protection Agency on Friday weakened limits on mercury and other toxic emissions from coal-fired power plants. The announcement was made at a large coal plant in Kentucky. Limits on mercury and other toxic emissions were first put in place by the Obama administration and were then tightened by the Biden administration. News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Overnight showers tonight. That'll carry into tomorrow morning. Our low this evening, 57. Tomorrow, a 60% chance for the rain. It's cooler. The high is 67. On Sunday, the early rain will turn to sunshine later on. The high 57. And then Monday, we get back to winter. Sunshine, but a high of only 48. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. Someone will be right with you.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, we're continuing on this Friday night from the beach. We're here at the High School Football Coaches Clinic at the Sheridan 4 Points here in Myrtle Beach. right by the waterway. You can't miss it. It's located, Sheridan 4 Points, is located by the stuck bridge, the bridge that's stuck up in the air. You could say it's giving the finger to the rest of the world. I don't know. Myrtle Beach is using the bridge to give the finger to the rest of the world. Yeah, that thing's been stuck since I was a kid. It was always the sign that you were getting to Myrtle Beach when you saw the bridge stuck up in the air. So, but that is where we're located here for the high school football coaches clinic. They're in sort of their social hour right now. In just a moment, we're going to talk high school baseball. The Classic is right around the corner. Stratford's going to be in it. Coach Tony Osterman's going to join us in just a second. But as we hit the break, Coach Scott Early was about to talk to one of our favorites, Everett Sands. And let's go back to those two in the social area, Coach.
And you were right, Phil. He's never took a loss, but he took a game for loss there. But he is patient and stayed with us and has done a lot for not only the state of South Carolina athletes, but the coaches in South Carolina. And he's here doing what he's doing again, and we're so proud to have him home. So, Coach Sands.
Hey, it is good to be back in Conway. You know, of course, when I come to this deal, one of the people that I always see is Coach Nate Thompson, who was not only my strength coach in high school, he was also my wrestling coach. Now, yeah, so now the first time I came out, I had to leave him, but he got me back out my senior year, and it ended up pretty good. But, you know, one of the things that you talked about a second ago was, you know, talking about how relationships lead to championships. And from a college coach perspective, it is all about relationships. So we have to have a relationship with the high school coaches because bottom line, when it starts coming to recruiting, it is all about relationships. And who better knows the high school athlete than the high school coaches? So it is important for us to get here so we can intermingle with the high school coaches to help build those relationships. So when the times come, we can go on and get those athletes. Because one of the things that we believe at Coastal Carolina is we're going to make sure that we take care of the guys in South Carolina. If we can keep the guys in South Carolina, then we're going to have a great chance to win those championships that you was talking about. So, again, it is good to be back here in Conway. I'm excited, and I'm ready to get this thing rolling.
So I'll let you go. Last question, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, but everybody wants to see the shots back, man. Can you give us a little glimpse into what we're going to have this year from Coastal Carolina?
Out hit, out hustle. Out hit, out hustle. Relentless pursuit of excellence in everything that we do. That is what the shots are going to be about this year. So we're going to go on and bring it in. We're going to make sure that we're tougher than everybody else. We're going to work harder than everybody else. And when it comes down to it, you step across that line, we're going to be ready to slap you in the mouth.
Hey, Phil, Coach Sands didn't drop the mic. He handed it to me, but I'm fixing to drop it. Thanks for having us on, and thank you, Coach Sands and Coach Thompson.
Thank you,
Back
guys.
to you, Phil.
Thank you, Coach Early, over in the social area. Fantastic stuff. Two of the best right there, Coach Thompson, Coach Sands. Coach Sands never lost a yard as a terrific running back there at the Citadel. And he didn't back up there either, man. He took it straight ahead, and we appreciate that. And thanks to Coach Early for doing yeoman's duty tonight. He not only worked for us, but he's been working the room. That's what he does. He's a talented guy, and he can work the room. So, and congratulations again on the Hall of Fame there, Coach. Well deserved. Okay. Turn our attention now to the upcoming Classic in Georgetown. And that's going to be right around the corner coming up in early March. Let's welcome into Sports Talk the head coach from Stratford High School, Coach Tony Osterman. Had a great year last year, looking for more of the same this year and looking forward to going to the Classic. Coach, welcome to Sports Talk. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing really well, and thanks for inviting me on the radio station.
It's our pleasure. And let's talk about your team. You're coming off a year in which you made it to the lower state finals. Were you able to replace some guys and kind of replenish the talent level?
Well, you know, the talent we had last year was kind of difficult to replace. You know, we had 12 good guys that really battled all year last year, and, you know, 2 of them left a little bit early, and we thought we have them back. But, yes, we have some younger players in the program that are really stepping up. One of our main players, Jarrett Wagner, who's 6'5", he'll be one of the top pitchers in the state this year, along with with some younger players like Dom Logella and Jamison Lee, and then we have a young catcher, Kayla Lott, who actually caught most of our year last year. He was an 8th grader. He's grown quite a bit, gained some weight. He's going to be a player to watch in the future, too. So we're excited about our program this year. We're going to be real scrappy this year. I think we're going to be real competitive and, with them really trying to do all the right things and really buying in. I'm real excited for this year.
You say scrappy. Does that mean maybe not a lot of power, but you're going to have some speed, you're going to steal some bases, you're going to create some runs?
I think we got a little bit with everything. We got some power with Michael Adams, who's a transfer from Goose Creek. Our first scrimmage, he hit 2 home runs, and with Jarrett Wagner, and we have Lucas Klein. We got quite a few guys that does show power with plus power, and then we got some players are very good contact hitters. Got good back control. They can move the ball around wherever they want to, and we got to play some small ball this year. We're not going to have the the type of hitters we had last year. We're going to have to play a little bit more small ball this year, and along with what kind of power we have, and try to salvage what we can do to score runs this year.
What's your region look like?
Well, you always know Berkeley is always a powerhouse. They're going to be really well coached. Landy Cox is a very good coach in our state. They're going to be really good. They got some transfer in, and they got some arms this year, along with Wando. Dirk, Thomas does a good job at Wando, and then you got Cane Bay, Coach Todd. They're going to be competitive, and then you got Lucy Beckham, who BJ over there, he does a really good job with them players over there. He's got 3 arms over there. So this year it's going to be pretty competitive this year. Last year we went 14-1 in the region, and it was tough. Every game was a battle, and this year I feel it's going to be the same way with every team we play this year.
One thing about Stratford now, if my memory's right, you have a pretty good tradition, a pretty long-running tradition of producing some excellent baseball players. Do you not? You've had a good run. They've had a good run down there going back many years.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you asked that. Back in the mid '90s, you had Matt Wieters, Justin Smoke, who played professional ball. A lot of players that came out of there. Travis Lott. Actually, Travis Lott went to the Citadel. He's one of our main coaches. I got a good coaching staff. With Michael Kaser, I got Rock Tobin, who played ball, Coach Jordan. So we got many good former players. But back in that day, my son also played on the 2005 state championship, who went on to play at College Charleston. And, it's kind of hard. You look at the tradition at Stratford, and, and now you're there. It's you got to keep that standard. It's a high standard there. So that's what we're trying to do, be very competitive, keep the expectations high.
Absolutely. How do you feel about this trip to Georgetown? Not a long ride for you, heading over to Georgetown in March for the Classic over at Mike Johnson Park, and a terrific field, and you're going to be a part of that. How excited are you to be in that event?
I'm very excited. I think it's one of the most prestigious tournament in the Southeast, maybe in America. Just that atmosphere and the support from everybody around that community. They just do everything they possibly can to make it successful, and then they treat us they just roll out the red carpet for us. And with the teams being there, you got the best of the best. They only can allow so many teams, and the venue there is just exceptional, well run, and we are excited. We're honored, and we're just a privilege to play there this year.
Well, best of luck to you in that. Best of luck to you throughout the season. Appreciate you being with us tonight, and we'll see you down in Georgetown in just a couple of weeks.
Thank you, sir, and we're looking forward, and good luck to every high school team for the season. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you so much. All right, Coach Tony Osterman from Stratford High School, and they're going to be at the Classic. I'm sure we're going to see their outstanding right-hander, Jarrett Wagner, who's committed to the Citadel. Probably see him early in that one. All right, let's run to the break, and we got NASCAR coming up here after the break. Jeff Owens will join us, talk about the 500 last weekend, exciting finish there. Look ahead to Atlanta. Atlanta's become, really, it's become one of the most exciting tracks on the circuit since they redid it. Mm-hmm. And they have the high speeds and the restrictor plate and the very close finishes. So I'm looking for another, and the weather should be pretty good. Looking for another great one in Atlanta. Jeff coming up in the Fast Lane.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
Looking for a new car? You need to think about a Kia. If you're in the market for an SUV, consider the new Kia Telluride or the new Kia Sorento. They're big, they're strong, and loaded with tech for thousands less than Honda or Toyota. You'll see the difference right away, and you get double the warranty. Plus, you get the JT's Advantage million-mile warranty and about 1,000 other things you have to see to believe.
If you want the biggest bang for your buck, it's time to think about a new JT's Kia.
We're serious about saving you money.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Just like in college basketball today, sometimes it's about who you bring in off the bench to provide that extra spark. At StraightUpSports.net, we're excited to announce the addition of Brett Friedlander, a longtime ACC insider columnist, to our all-star lineup that includes Bob Gillespie, Scott Kiefer, Mark Sturgis, and more. At StraightUpSports.net, it's always about the stories. Check out this all-star lineup at StraightUpSports.net or at Straight Up Sports on Facebook.
I'm the best there is, plain and simple, and nobody can hang with my stuff. If you ain't first, you're last.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
Love it when it's forward, love it when it's fast, love it when the leader's caught, the pack is moving past, love it when they're making lots and lots of noise, can't wait to hear these W's say. Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys! Let's go racing, boys!
Beep, 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 beep.
Love it when they're drafting, love it when they slide, love it when the back's straight, the throttle's open wide, love it when they're making lots and lots of noise, can't wait to hear these W's say.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys. Boys. All right, let's welcome in Jeff Owens in the fast lane. Welcome in, sir. How was your 500 Sunday? What'd you think about what you saw?
Well, it wasn't the best Daytona 500 we've seen, for sure. But it's been bad. I thought it was kind of typical in a way, Phil. They rode around for a while, then you had the big crash that weeded out the field and down to about 20, 25 cars, and then we had another wreck and a wild finish. So it was kind of typical. I thought it was a great finish, even though, you kind of feel bad for Chase Elliott. But I thought it was a great finish, great victory by Tyler Reddick. Huge, ironic victory for Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan. I'm sure NASCAR was not cheering that too much. But, overall, I thought it was a good race. I think they've got to do some work, though, on the package a little bit. There was a little bit too much riding around and a lot of fuel saving. And I think the fans and the drivers were both pretty frustrated with that. So I think that's something that needs addressing for sure. But I thought it was okay race.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, if you care about this. I mean, the television audience was their best in years, because I'm always a little leery of these television rating numbers because everything has skyrocketed. I mean, do we have that many more people watching television today than we did 5 years ago? Maybe we do. Maybe the gambling's got a lot to do with it. Maybe how they're counting people has a lot to do with it. But the bottom line is Fox was very proud to promote the fact that they had 9.5 million people watching at the peak. But that's good. That's good for NASCAR if you believe it.
Yeah. Highest rating in 2 or 3 years, up about 11%, I think, over last year. So that's good. And I don't think that's shocking. I think a lot of people were excited for this season. A lot of changes during the off season. A lot of stuff went on. Probably more news. A lot of it bad news in the off season. But I think a lot of people were ready to see some racing. And then, they kind of got robbed on, the Clash. That didn't work out so well. So I think a lot of people were excited. We didn't have any real weather problems, and I think it was a good day for the sport. The race could have been a little more exciting, but still, you got that dramatic finish you were looking for, and that's kind of, that's what it's all about. And so I think it was a pretty good start for them. I think they got some work on the package a little bit, but not a bad start at all.
Mm-hmm. Jeff, you're clearly not the only person who felt that way, because Jeremy Mayfield basically just slashed and dashed through the Daytona 500. His comments afterwards, he said, if you enjoyed that finish, you're a fan of crashes, not a fan of racing. Yeah. And he talked about the fuel mileage, and that's the part that bothers me. I mean, I don't remember Daytona always being one of these saving the fuel to get to the end. Like he said, it's like they were driving a Prius. I mean, how does Daytona fix that?
Yeah, well, I don't know. And, last week, Phil, you were talking about why are they running so slow? Why are they so slow? Well, we kind of know now. They were out there running about half and three-quarter throttle to save fuel, and that's why the speeds were down so much. And I think they were out there practicing that because they knew they were going to do that during the race. But, to answer your question, Chris, I don't know how they fix it, and I don't think NASCAR knows how they can fix it. The only thing that I've heard that makes a lot of sense is get rid of the stages for your restrictor plate races. I think that might help. I don't know that would fix it. But what you got right now is that, guys playing strategy and saving fuel for that one pit stop during the stage. At the end of the stage, and you set yourself up to, help you down the long run toward the end of the race. But Ryan Blaney said it best. They were so frustrated because they were just sitting there riding, and the guys in front are riding half throttle and holding the rest of the field up, but nobody can go anywhere because everybody is saving fuel. And that's not fair to the drivers, not fair to the fans. It's not the way you race. So I get that frustration. I think you get rid of the stages at restrictor plates. And then if you need to make some other changes, fine. But whatever you need to do, they need to stop that mess. But you know what? They've tinkered with the rules for years on these restrictor plates, and they seem to always figure it out and go back and have a good race. And then, the engineers and the drivers and the crews figure out a way to get around all that, and they mess it up again. So it's a moving target. It always has been, particularly on these types of tracks. But this is a big challenge they got to go fix.
Should we be worried we're going to see a similar type race at Atlanta this weekend?
Well, you could, but I don't think it's as big a factor as it is at Daytona, because you're not going to see as many three-wide packs, and the handling in Atlanta is a much bigger deal as it is at Daytona. It's a smaller track. a little bit tougher to, just ride. And this track, it's going to wear out. It's going to get slick, and they're going to be sliding around. So I think handling is going to be such an issue that it may not allow them to do that. They may have to pit more, and you may see them pit more under caution. I think you'll see less fuel savings at Atlanta than you did Daytona. I hope so anyway.
Jeff Owens in the fast lane with us here on Sports Talk on this Friday night, talking about what happened at Daytona and looking ahead to what we should expect in Atlanta. But Atlanta has become, you'd have to put Atlanta right up there with Talladega and with Daytona for creating like the closest finishes on the circuit pretty much right now, right? They've got a streak of really exciting finishes going for them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Since they reconfigured that track, I think 4 years ago, I think we've had 8 races since they reconfigured that track and implemented restrictor plates, and they've all been fantastic. And you're right, we've had some of the closest finishes we've ever had. 2 close finishes last year. One of them ended up caution, but Chase Elliott's was close. The one a few years ago with Daniel Suarez, which was a photo finish, we've had 2 or 3 of those at Atlanta. I expect the same thing this week. They've put on great shows there, and I think I love opening the season with 2 races in the South, and I love opening the season with 2 restrictor plate races, because that almost guarantees you're going to get a good finish one way or the other. It's going to be exciting no matter what happens to get there. You're going to get a good finish.
Why is it, though, and I know you're not an engineer, but you know enough about it, why can't they do away with restrictor plates and on these super speedways reconfigure the engine, do something with the engine, maybe just reduce the horsepower, but give them enough where they can step on the gas and pull away from somebody and get some separation versus everybody running together in a pack? Is it a money thing? Is it too expensive to do it that way? Why do they do it this way?
I think that's what the fans want. They put on great races down there. People love seeing them run that close together. It's breathtaking to watch them do it. And like it or not, and NASCAR doesn't want to say this, but you're going to get a couple of big wrecks, and fans love to see wrecks. Wrecks means exposure. People love seeing that stuff. So your most exciting races every single year are Daytona, Talladega, and now Atlanta, and it's because of those restrictor plates and their big bunches of field up. They could take them off, but these guys are going to be going way too fast. You got to, the risk of getting airborne, car going into the stands. That's why they put them on there in the first place. But I think you're right. In today's technology, there's got to be a better way to do it. But I'm not sure they want to do that. They don't want to screw up the show. It's a pretty good show on those restrictor plates where you got some other races that you go there almost and it's going to be dull. But you don't have that at Daytona and Atlanta. So I don't think they're going to mess with that part of it.
All right, who you picking on for this one? Are you going to go with Elliott? You going to go with Elliott, or you got somebody else in mind?
Well, yeah, I'm going to go with Chase. He's won since they reconfigured the track. This is his home track, of course. He's going to be the overwhelming fan favorite. He's won twice there since they've reconfigured the track. He's always up there. He had that race won last week. He laid back and got there at the right time, and he was going to win it, and then got taken out at the end. I think they're going to be pretty hungry. I'm going to put my money on the hometown boy this week.
All right. Michael Jordan, Tyler Reddick, that team, they got some magic going too, but that's not a bad pick. Thank you, Jeff. Great as always. Have a great weekend. Talk to you next week. Jeff Owens in the fast lane. Here on Sports Talk, we're going to bring recruiting to you after the break, and then some birdies and bogeys on turf coming up.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Overnight showers tonight. That'll carry into tomorrow morning. Our low this evening, 57. Tomorrow, a 60% chance for the rain. It's cooler. The high is 67. On Sunday, the early rain will turn to sunshine later on. The high 57. And then Monday, we get back to winter. Sunshine, but a high of only 48. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Attention all gun owners. Did you know you can now purchase a suppressor with a $0 tax stamp? Palmetto State Armory is the go-to destination for suppressors with brands like Dead Air, Advanced Armament, Silencer Co., and many more on hand. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff is there to help walk you through the suppressor buying process and help you make the right decision whether it's your first suppressor purchase or your 10th. Stop in today and take advantage of the new $0 tax stamp on suppressors at Palmetto State Armory, your premier suppressor dealer.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. All truckers and bus drivers will have to take their commercial driver's license tests in English as the Trump administration expands its campaign to improve safety in the industry and get unqualified drivers off the road. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy wants to ensure that drivers understand English well enough to read road signs and communicate with law enforcement officers. President Trump says he's imposing a temporary global tariff of 10% after his far-reaching tariff regimen was struck down by the Supreme Court. The court handed him a stinging loss on an issue crucial to his economic agenda. Trump says he's absolutely ashamed of justices who voted to strike down his tariffs, calling the decision deeply disappointing. More details at srnnews.com.
Are you tired of that sinking feeling when the electric bill arrives? Does the phrase peak hours trigger anxiety and a headache? Do you suffer from chronic fatigue of watching your hard-earned money evaporate right into the power grid? You may be suffering from utility pain and anxiety disorder, or UPAD. Symptoms include sweating when running the AC, a fear of turning on lights, and a general feeling of powerlessness over your energy costs.
It's time for you to try Solaris from Ken at Broker Solar. Broker Solar isn't a temporary fix, but a lasting solution with cutting-edge solar technology designed to address high energy bills at their source. Many clients have experienced immediate relief from high monthly payments with reports of increased home value and greater financial freedom. Imagine a brighter future for your home and your wallet. Side effects include the freedom to use your appliances when you want and a powerful sense of energy independence. Broker Solar, a brighter outlook for your home and wallet. Call us now, 803-807-7417. That's 807-7417 or online at brokersolar.com.
Hey honey, did you see this new insurance card for the state health plan? It has a big box pharmacies logo on it. Does that mean we have to switch pharmacies?
Nope, not at all. That logo's just on the card.
So we don't have to leave the pharmacy that treats us like family?
Exactly. We can keep the same great care from our local pharmacy.
True Pharmacy, the pharmacy that takes time to care. Come see us at our Columbia location at 623 Beltline Boulevard or in West Columbia at Triangle Pharmacy, 1239 D Avenue.
Here's something big banks don't advertise. They don't work for you.
At Mid-Carolina Credit Union, we do, because we're owned by our members, not shareholders. I'm Dean Scarborough. We may not be the biggest financial institution in our market. We do have the biggest heart. Come in and try us on for size. You might be surprised just how well we fit.
For a credit union that does work for you, Mid-Carolina Credit Union. Bank where you belong.
Mid-Carolina CU, federally insured by the NCUA, an equal housing lender. NMLS 403334.
Hey, it's Jay with the Cigar Militia. Charles Spurgeon once said, "I intend to smoke a good cigar to the glory of God before I go to bed tonight." Needless to say, we didn't intend for Charles to be a great spokesman for our favorite pastime of glorifying God while smoking a cigar, but thank you, Pastor Spurgeon. At the Cigar Militia, we used to call our regulars our customers. Now we call them our friends. That's the cigar culture. If you know, you know. The Cigar Militia, 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman-Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat & Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat & Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Okay, birdies and bogeys are coming up, but first we got to give you the recruiting report. What would a Friday be without a little dose of recruiting? Brought to you by Seawells. Get to Seawells next week for the daily luncheon buffet, and give Seawells a call for all your catering needs at 803-771-7385, online for Seawells at SeawellsCateringSC.com. They are my catering choice and my buffet choice. They should be yours as well. All right, checking recruiting. South Carolina in on offensive lineman Condreas Jones, 6'5", 290 of Loganville, Georgia. He camped there last summer. New offensive line coach Randy Clements recently offered him. He was very excited to get that offer. He's going to visit in the spring, maybe take an official visit. Also going to visit Georgia Tech, Auburn, Kentucky, Virginia, Virginia Tech, NC State, and Pitt in the spring. Clemson taking a look at running back Carter Wallace out of Jonesboro, Arkansas, 5'11", 200. He was in January for a junior day visit. The Tigers have not offered. Army, Duke, Syracuse, Missouri, Minnesota, Kentucky, and Wake Forest have. May be getting back to Clemson at some point this spring or in the summer. Last season, 1,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, averaged over 8 yards per carry. Some other notes, South Carolina offered offensive lineman Caleb Seiler, 6'8", 270 of Gunter, Texas, and offensive lineman Dewey Young, 6'5", 305 of Kalamazoo, Michigan, and offensive lineman Antonio Kiefer, 6'5", 300 of Memphis. USC target receiver Ivion Lewis to visit Kentucky on June 19th. USC commitment defensive back Amari Fountain was offered by Miami. USC target cornerback Kanaz Sullivan was offered by Southern Cal and Florida. USC target quarterback Jamison Roberts offered by Georgia. USC target tight end Malik Howard. Official visit to Alabama May 29th. 24/7 Sports reported that running back Ty Phillips of Irmo, who transferred recently from Fayetteville, North Carolina, will visit Clemson March 2nd and South Carolina March 4th. And safety Robert Geathers III of Charlotte will visit USC on March 21st. Clemson target offensive lineman Peyton Miller, official visit to Texas Tech June 12th. Another Clemson target receiver Tay Walden, offered by Southern Cal. Another Clemson target receiver Elias Pearl, offered by Florida State. South Point defensive end Seth Tillman, offered by Michigan and Indiana. Clemson and USC target cornerback Davian Jones of Charlotte, offered by Oklahoma. 2028 receiver Desiree Christian of Emerald was offered by Duke and Liberty. That's recruiting tonight right here on Sports Talk.
4. Straight down the middle. It went straight down the middle. Then it started to hook just a wee
bit.
And that's when my caddy lost
Side of it.
That little white pellet has never been day.
Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. The three of us. Let's talk birdies and bogeys on turf here on Sports Talk. Let's welcome in George Bryan III, Larry Maddox, two of the greatest minds in golf in the history of the state of South Carolina. Gentlemen, welcome in. Great to have you with us. George, you're on the team, my friend. Take it away.
I'll tell you what, that's the best introduction yet. Hey, we start off at a cloudy spot, like way up, way up. Our imagination grows. Welcome, Larry. We might as well tee it high and just hit it higher. How about that, Larry?
Yep. From now on, I'm gonna put in my bio thing. I'm one of the greatest minds. I mean, if Phil said it.
Well, Larry, you are a great mind. You're a trivia guy. You're a Masters guy. You're a golf guy. That's a mind full of great stuff.
Well, I have a few categories of expertise, but I can't take it too deep in some of the other ones.
Well, we had a blast last weekend, and we'll always begin to preview Augusta because it sounds like we got a long time before the magical week, but really we only have, I don't know, 6-8 shows or so, and then we're there. But today, and I talked to Larry, and incidentally, Larry Maddox is the instructor at Charlwood Country Club. Charlwood hosts the Winter Tour, the 2026 version, which will be our 33rd, and Rock Lucas and his family has hosted this special event, which is it's a recreation family golf fun league that has been going on. It started at Timberlake and Indian River in 1993, and has been ever since '94 been at Charwood. So Larry Maddox is the instructor at Charwood, and we'll be talking a little more. We have our Winter Tour Championship this Sunday, and Charwood, very friendly to families and a fun place to play. Always want to make sure folks that are listening clear on who's here. And Larry Maddox, well, he's got a few miles on his tread, played in 4 USGA majors. That means he's really got game. 2 years ago, 3, maybe a year and a half, 2, retired and decided to take on another career, teaching and coaching golf. So it's a privilege to have him on. Larry, as we get into it, I know your blood was absolutely boiling for golf today. I know Phil, I know yours was.
Oh, yeah.
And I know the plumber, even though he's just trying to go to plumber, wake up. You cannot go to sleep. And I don't know who else you got on the show tonight.
Bergie's on the show.
Don't go to
What's
sleep.
up, George?
I mean, yeah, I'm telling you, the temperature, my enthusiasm for golf, so let's get it going. This past week was the Carolinas PGA Merchandise Show. And hey, Larry, I know you played in 4 USGA majors, but I ran into a guy who's played 27, Bert Atkinson.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, Bert can bring it, no doubt about it.
You guys,
I'm proud of my 4, but there's a lot of people that have some really big numbers that have been great players for a long time.
Speaking of people, let's go around the horn. Plummer's already confessed he did not have a golf club in his hand. Bergie, Phil, did you think about the game today? I mean, come on. Show it to me.
Go ahead,
Did not,
Bergie.
George. I had game prep for basketball tomorrow. I'm still working indoors. As soon as basketball season ends, though, I might have a chance to get out and play a little bit.
Well,
I could go ahead.
I was going to say my goal tomorrow is to get on the course. And I'm down here at the beach for the coaches' clinic, and so I'll be finished when we shut down tonight. They've used me all up here, so I'm done. And my goal is to get on the course. Now, the weather could be a little rainy here tomorrow, so I'm concerned about that. So if it doesn't happen tomorrow, then I'm thinking about on Sunday. So my goal is to get on the beach. But let me say this before we get into anything else. So you never know golf connects everybody, does it not? Can we agree that golf connects everybody?
It seems to shrink up the world in an odd way. It truly does.
Yeah. So I was making a business call down here at the beach, and I spoke to a very nice young lady, and turns out that her husband, you might know this gentleman, her husband is, and I hope I get the right name right, Jim Knaufel, the director of agronomy and the superintendent at the International Club in Myrtle Beach. Are you familiar, George?
The club, but I don't think I know Jim.
Okay. Well, he is the director of agronomy, and he's the superintendent of that course, the International Club, which is a very nice club in Murrells Inlet. And also, the young lady I was talking to, her father played golf at Wake Forest and also on the PGA Tour. So that was kind of neat. My point is, golf is universal, and you can be. And also their daughter, you might recognize the daughter, Smith Knaufel. She played at South Carolina and then transferred to the College of Charleston going back a few years ago. Does that ring a bell?
The name, the last name is familiar, absolutely. And you could be, this child could have the maiden name of Callum. That could be Mike Callum's daughter. I'm not real sure. Mike, or granddaughter.
Not daughter. Yeah, me.
Granddaughter. So anyway, Mike played on the PGA Tour, and he played at Wake Forest. That's a fact. So the world is pretty small, and it's a wonderful thing to be at the beach. My goodness. Don't make your plans based on the weather now. I mean, go on out, take a rain suit. The temp's going to be right.
Well, now,
water.
I've got a major on Monday, so today it will be sort of a warm-up round because I have a major on Monday at Harbortown, the annual media golf outing for the RBC Heritage presented by Boeing. Got to say the whole thing. Those of us who wear the target. So I have a major on Monday. Larry, when you played majors, how did you approach that? Because I have a certain approach to majors. What was your approach to playing in majors?
Well, our approach is probably very similar. No, obviously, you look at the golf course you're going to play. You're going to look at what it's going to require to navigate that golf course because all courses are different. And you start preparing the shots that you think you're going to need. Maybe there's some history that you can read up on. Maybe there's some video out there somewhere, but you just try to do the best you can to be prepared. And your lead up to that, your qualifier is normally going to be a few weeks before that, like a U.S. Amateur, it's probably late July, like in the past, and the tournament was the middle of August, so you had a couple of weeks. But you already knew if you're going to try to qualify, you were already looking at the course that you might be playing. So
yeah.
I think your preparation was around what that course was going to require.
What would you say your history has been at Harbor Town and dealing with that course?
I played it a few times. It's a wonderful golf course, totally fair, totally challenging, a real test, but a pleasure to play. All the holes are very unique. That's what's great about it, the routing of it, and when you play the holes, you just not a lot of sameness. I was talking about a golf course the other day with somebody, and all the holes just seem to be the same. That don't happen in Harbor Town. So I played okay. No great, no career rounds or anything, but very enjoyable experience the few times I've been down there.
Well, on 18, with the wind blowing in late afternoon, if you played it late afternoon, wind blowing in on 18, and I'm sure you played it from the tips, what was your club combination to the green?
I don't remember my club combination, but I know that I made sure on my second shot that it was bearing right because left is in the Calabogie Sound over there, and short's not good either. So I gave it something that was going to give me either on the right edge of the green or some sort of a chip approach from the right side. But I don't remember the club. It was middle longish, probably. Yeah, it wasn't shortish, that's for sure.
How about you, George?
Oh, into the wind, I have hit driver 3-wood full wedge, and everything's right. In downwind, I've driven it, up to that edge and hit whatever short iron, 8-iron, 9-iron to the green, and it just is amazing how different that golf course can play. And I don't mind telling you that the wind comes in different directions. And it's tied for first with my favorite golf courses. So the way that I think you ought to play Harbor Town is one shot at a time and enjoy every one of them. Every one of them. There will be a lot to enjoy for you on Monday, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
You should have a lot of joy.
Well, now we're going to play. It's going to be a scramble. I'm not crazy about scrambles, because I like getting my own score. That's just my ego.
Yeah, but Phil, they only have 2 months to clean up the golf course after you play.
It is kind of cool.
They don't have enough time.
It is kind of cool, like on 16-17 when CBS has the overhead shot, and I see this big bear spot over there, and I go, that was my divot. That little 2-foot piece of bear over there, that's where I sank my club into the turf there and pulled up about 2 good feet of grass that they couldn't repair in time for the tournament. I can go back and see my markings on the golf course. So, but you guys, of course, play at an entirely different level than people like me. When you're hitting your approaches there, Larry, at Harbor Town, they're so tight with the trees hanging over and protecting, you have to take into consideration the wind, which way the wind's blowing, how to navigate through those trees and all that kind of stuff. Is that sort of in your mind as you're setting up your shot?
Oh, absolutely. There's some holes that you can drive it like in the right side of the fairway, and it's a dog leg to the green. You're in the fairway. So because of the trees overhanging, yes, so you're exactly right. But what I try to do, and going back to you getting ready to play on Monday, usually there's 2 questions people ask if you play a really good golf course, and that is, what did you shoot? So since it's a scramble, you don't have that pressure on you. And what did you do on such and such a hole? So really, when you're playing a golf course like that, you try to enjoy it. You try to hit a few good shots that you can brag about later on, and just enjoy the experience. Quite often we get so deep in the round about trying to get a score that we don't pull our head up long enough to really enjoy the experience like we should. But since you're in a scramble on Monday, it's all about individual strokes of brilliance. So just go out there and just enjoy it, free roll it, go for every flag, and come back with a few stories.
So, George,
Speaking of stories,
go ahead.
You're talking Harbortown. I just got to bring this one up.
Yeah.
So I had that privilege of playing in that event once.
I was just going to say, you were inside the ropes.
Yeah, and so I played my practice rounds, and I'd never played. I'd been there, but I'd never played it. So we're on the first hole in the second round, and G4, he was my caddy. My oldest son was my caddy, and we're on the first tee, and the way I had to play it is tee up on the far right of the marker, and I had to play a cut because the way you get into that green is got to be in the right side of the fairway. And my hands were shaking pretty good. I was the first to tee up, and so I always, when I've got to be the first to tee up, my hands are rattling back and forth. I'll tee that ball up long before it's time to hit, because I don't want to be sitting there stuck on the tee with my hands shaking and can't get the ball on the tee. So I'll make sure that ball's teed up. And I'm standing there looking. First of all, he's sitting there. He goes, "Dad, why are you teeing the ball up so early? The guy just said 3 minutes." I said, "Well, we got 3 minutes to look how good my ball's teed up, because it's sitting there and not." And he didn't laugh. And I looked at him and I said, "Son, you all right?" He goes, "Dad, I'm kind of nervous." I'm sitting there going, it's my second tour event ever, and I go, "What do you mean you're nervous?" He goes, "I didn't think I'd be nervous being your caddy, but I'm really nervous. My stomach's feeling weird." And I look at him, and then he gives me a little grin, and then he said, "Dad, have you looked at where you gonna hit that ball?" And I went, "Nah, it's teed up. Don't need to look." He goes, "Dad, you're hitting that ball right over the people's head in that gallery." And I went, "Thanks for reminding me of that." So I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. At that point, they had not made the revisions, and literally teeing it up over there. So I'm getting ready to hit, and I'm walking up to Molly. He goes, "Dad, you gonna move that ball over?" I said, "Son, man, give me a break." "No, I'm not." So anyway, I did hit it over their heads, and that was one of the most. It was an epic for me. I have a little conversation with George, and it's a little insight. I don't know if I've ever told that story before or not, but that's a true story.
That's a great story.
And by the way, I sliced it a little bit, so it didn't technically go over their head, but where it ended up was behind them. So anyway,
I can't believe
a few yards on the other side.
I can't believe you were nervous. By the way, the gentleman I was thinking about who played at Wake Forest and on the PGA Tour, who is the father of the person I was talking to, his name is Ken Folks, Folkes, Folkes, Ken Folks. And he played on the tour. He played at Wake Forest early 60s. And so that's his granddaughter who played at South Carolina and then went over to the College of Charleston. All right, let's talk about the college scene, guys, real quick, because we had some tournaments completed this week. So the Moon Golf Invitational, South Carolina women in this in Melbourne, Florida, and they did not do all that well. They finished 11th for the event. They finished 11th, and they came in at 24 over, so they were 31 shots back. And individually, for the Gamecocks, the top scorers were Malis Lemure and Verena Heck at +4. They finished at +4. Galitsky finished at +5. A little bit of a sluggish start, I would say, George, for what we're used to from the USC women. I'd say they're off to a little bit of a sluggish start.
Well, they've gotten off to these fiery starts for years early in the spring, and they played well throughout, great, but they didn't have the best postseason play. So maybe they'll get a little bit different start. It doesn't. And this season's so long, that it starts in the fall, then it progresses all the way 6-7 months before they get to any tournament play. So plenty of time to recover. And Coach So, well, Larry Maddox, he can Coach Larry can comment on what he thinks Coach Kalen would be thinking about at this point.
Well, I had the pleasure to work with him for 3 years under Kalen. It was a real pleasure, and so I followed him very closely. But I actually had pulled up the results of the tournament that's sitting right here in front of me, and here's the deal. They went in number 18, and basically that's almost exactly the way the teams in front of them, they finished 11th, and every team that beat them was ranked ahead of them. So it almost fell right in order. I mean, and then the team right behind them was ranked behind them. I mean, the 12th team, which was Florida State, was ranked behind it. And almost, if you look down there, it's number 8, 6, 16, 7, 22 beat them. Tennessee beat them. That's the only team ahead of them that was ranked behind them going in. So it almost fell according to their ranking. So even though it may be disappointing for a team with the history of South Carolina women, it kind of falls in the ranking of where they stand right now, which is a little bit of a rebuilding year after losing a couple of very good players.
See, that's why you're so smart. I never thought about looking at it that way. That's more of that good stuff that you've got in your head about the rankings. I'm glad you pointed that out. Now, the Clemson women played in the Spartan Suncoast Invitational in Sarasota, Florida. The Clemson women finished tied for 11th at plus 54. The winner was plus 20, Northwestern. That must have been one tough golf course. Tigers finished 34 shots back, and their best scorer was Isabella Rawl at plus 9. So, George, a course like that producing those kind of scores, I mean, either the conditions or the course must have been really, really tough.
I wish I could come up with the backstory on that one as Larry just did. Maybe you got more to say. You're exactly right. Definitely conditions with probably a hard golf course too. So that's my guess. Wasn't there. Larry, do you have something better?
Well, not on that particular one, but I do want to bring up one other thing. The NCAA, and we're not trying to get controversy going here, but they've been playing these national championships out on the West Coast several years.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the East Coast. We're at a 3-hour travel disadvantage, acclimating to all that. So I know that Kalen really works very hard to get them out to the West Coast a couple of times before the championships will be played. But I don't see the logic behind that. They play on the West Coast like 2 or 3 years in a row. And there's the Stanfords out there and the UCLA's out there. They're already very good. It's kind of concerning that South Carolina has to play to such a disadvantage every single year in the traveling they do to go play the NCAA. So Kalen tries to get out there a couple times before the championships are played.
All right, let me wrap this up quickly. George. The Clemson men played in the Prestige, which was in La Quinta, California. The third round was rained out, so Clemson finished in 20th at plus 34, 39 shots back of the winner after 2 rounds, which was Stanford. And the Tigers' best score was Oscar Holm Bredger. He comes in at plus 7. And then the PGA, they're playing the Genesis in Los Angeles. And after 2 rounds, or maybe in the second round, Jacob Bridgman, guys, is still he's tied for the lead with Marco Pinge. Bridgman, another great round, guys, 66-64. They're at 12 under, a shot ahead of Rory McIlroy, who's still on the course, and Adam Scott is at 10 under. And Andrew Novak is 1 under. Scheffler is even. Lucas Glover is plus 3. So, George, there's the music. I'll let you put it out.
Hey, I have to say I saw Ben Martin and also Carson Young, Clemson Tigers, PGA Tour players. They looked great. It was fun watching them yesterday. And, Larry, you crushed it there. Phil, appreciate it. Till next week, tee 'em high and shoot 'em low.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Bergie. Thank you, Plummer. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, coaches. Have a great weekend.